Today's topic is hepatitis C and hepatitis E. In this lecture, we will cover hepatitis C and hepatitis E under the subheadings of epidemiological determinants, mode of transmission, clinical features, diagnosis, and the most important, prevention and control. First of all, we will cover hepatitis C. Hepatitis C is a communicable liver disease and it results from infection with hepatitis C virus. Hepatitis C can range in severity from a mild illness to a long lasting chronic illness. As far as global burden is concerned, every year 3 to 4 million people are infected with the hepatitis C virus and about 130 to 150 million people are chronically infected and are at risk of developing liver cirrhosis or liver cancer, which are the complications of hepatitis C infection. More than 500,000 people die from hepatitis C related liver diseases every year. When we talk about the national scenario, approximately 6% individuals are infected with hepatitis C virus in Pakistan. Viral hepatitis is alarmingly high in general population. Hepatitis C virus is linear single-strand RNA virus and belongs to family Flaviviridae. When we talk about age distribution, hepatitis C in younger age group 15 to 29 years of age is mostly associated with drug abuse or unsafe sex, while in age group above 29 years it is mostly seen in transfusion associated conditions and it occurs throughout the year. There are different modes of transmission of hepatitis C virus, but it is most commonly transmitted through exposure to infectious blood. Recipients of contaminated blood transfusion, blood products, and organ transplants patients are at risk of getting hepatitis C infection. It can be transmitted by injection drug use. It can be transmitted with contaminated syringes or healthcare staff can get needle stick injuries in healthcare settings. Another risk factor is being born to hepatitis C positive mother. Fetus can get hepatitis C through vertical transmission. Hepatitis C may be transmitted through unsafe sex with an infected person, or it can be transmitted by sharing of personal items which are contaminated with infectious blood. But these are less common transmission causes. Misconceptions regarding mode of transmission are prevalent in our society. Let me share that hepatitis C does not spread through breast milk, food or water, or by casual contact such as hugging and sharing food or drinks with an infected person. These things do not spread hepatitis C. This is the reinforcement of previous slide. Hepatitis C can be transmitted from positive mother to baby and it can be transmitted by receiving contaminated blood products. Patients can get hepatitis C through unsafe injections and inadequate sterilization of medical equipment can spread hepatitis C. And other mode of transmission is sexual transmission. And while getting pierced or tattooed with contaminated instrument is also a risk factor for transmission. So screening of blood is very important and infection prevention measures such as sterilization of instruments or proper disposal of used needle are also very important. Moreover, sexual transmission is another route, so unsafe sex should be avoided. Incubation period of hepatitis C is 2 weeks to 6 months. After initial infection, approximately 80% of people are asymptomatic. They do not exhibit any symptoms. Those people who are acutely symptomatic may present with fever, fatigue, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, dark colored urine, grey colored stools, joint pain, and jaundice. About 75 to 85% of newly infected persons develop chronic disease, and 60 to 70% of chronically infected persons develop chronic liver disease. Those who develop chronic liver disease, 5 to 20% develops liver cirrhosis, and 1 to 5% die from cirrhosis or liver cancer, because liver cancer is also a late complication of hepatitis C virus. In 25% of liver cancer patients, the underlying cause is hepatitis C usually. After getting infection, 80% individuals are asymptomatic, while symptoms are seen in 20% to 30% individual. Acute infection may be converted into chronic infection, which is seen in 75% to 85% cases. 10% to 25% cases present with liver cirrhosis, and in chronic infection, extrahepatic manifestation like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, lichen planus, Murine ulcers of eye, and certain lymphomas can be seen. Hepatocellular carcinoma and liver cirrhosis are the complications of hepatitis C virus. Hepatocellular carcinoma can occur in 1% to 4% individuals. This is the pictorial presentation of different types of liver. You can see the normal liver, which is on the top of the figure, and then chronic hepatitis. Chronic hepatitis means if hepatitis C infection occur and it is converted into chronic infection, which occur in approximately up to 85% of cases. 20% to 30% cases can develop liver cirrhosis, and 1 to 4% cases can develop hepatocellular carcinoma or end-stage liver disease. Hepatitis C can cause liver damage, liver failure, or hepatocellular carcinoma. Now the question arises, who are at risk? People who received blood products, or are the recipient of organ transplant are at risk of getting hepatitis C. Current or former injection drug users, people who are at long-term hemodialysis, people who live with HIV, healthcare staff, people with abnormal liver test or liver disease, infants who are born to infected mothers, people who share drug equipments, or people who share personal care items like toothbrush, razors, people who had tattoo or piercing done with non-sterile equipment, or received any health care with unsterilized instruments are also at risk. Moreover, people who lived in a region where hepatitis C is common or more prevalent, all these people are at risk. Early diagnosis of the disease is important to prevent health problems or complications that may result from infection, and it may prevent the transmission to close contacts and other family members. Diagnosis is done by presence of anti-HCV antibodies. The presence of anti-HCV antibodies indicate that a person is or has been infected with hepatitis C virus. Hepatitis C virus recombinant immunoblot assay (REBA) or hepatitis C virus RNA testing is also carried out to confirm the diagnosis. Common method of antibody detection cannot differentiate between acute and chronic infection. Diagnosis of chronic infection is made when antibodies to hepatitis C virus are present in blood for more than 6 months. There is no vaccine for hepatitis C, so the risk of infection can be reduced only by avoiding unnecessary and unsafe injections, unsafe blood transfusion, unsafe sharp waste collection and disposal, use of illicit drugs and sharing of injection equipment, unprotected sex with hepatitis C infected person, sharing of sharp personal items that may be contaminated with blood, tattooing, piercing, and acupuncture, which are performed with contaminated equipments. For people who are infected with hepatitis C virus, World Health Organization recommends education and counseling on options for care and treatment. World Health Organization encourages immunization with hepatitis A and B vaccine, which will prevent co-infection from these hepatitis virus and protect liver. Early and appropriate medical management, including antiviral therapy if possible. Regular monitoring of early diagnosis of chronic liver disease. Hepatitis C is generally considered to be a curable disease, but sometimes it is not the reality. Hepatitis C does not always require treatment. However, if patient requires treatment, careful screening is necessary before starting the treatment. Mainstay is combination antiviral therapy with interferon and ribavirin. But there are some problems for interferon. It is not available globally. Sometimes patient cannot tolerate it. Some virus genotype do not respond to interferon, and many people usually discontinue the use of interferon. So these are the problem with this type of therapy. Um, New drugs, new therapeutic agents, Teliprevir and Boceprevir, have recently been licensed in some countries for the treatment. Moreover, there are 6 genotypes of hepatitis C and they may respond differently for treatment. We will go through hepatitis E. We have covered hepatitis C and now we are going to discuss hepatitis E. Hepatitis E is the infection which is caused by hepatitis E virus. It was discovered in 1980 and it is essentially a waterborne disease. Formerly, it was named as non-A non-B virus. Hepatitis E virus is RNA virus which is 29 nanometer to 32 nanometer and it has 4 genotypes type 1, 2, 3 and 4. Prevalence of hepatitis E mainly depends upon genotype. Genotype 1 is usually seen in developing countries and causes community level outbreaks. Genotype 3 is usually found in developed countries and it does not cause outbreak. Genotype 1 is found in subcontinent. In recent years, outbreaks have been reported in areas of conflict and humanitarian emergencies such as war zones, such as in refugees camp or in camps of internally displaced people. Every year, an estimated 20 million hepatitis E infections occur worldwide, which lead to an estimated 3.3 million symptomatic cases. And according to recent estimate, WHO says that hepatitis E caused approximately 44,000 deaths in 2015. Hepatitis E is the disease which spreads by fecal-oral route, mainly by contaminated water. However, foodborne transmission from ingestion of products derived from infected animal or transfusion of infected blood products or vertical transmission from a pregnant woman to fetus are also documented modes of transmission. Hepatitis E spreads mainly by fecal-oral route, mainly by contaminated water. This figure or this diagram represents a mode of transmission. If a human being consumes drinking water which is not safe or consumes fruits and vegetables which are being irrigated by contaminated water or consumes meat which is contaminated or there is contamination of sewage in water supply. These are some modes of transmission of hepatitis E. So then human beings are exposed to this infection. Incubation period of hepatitis E is 3 to 8 weeks with a mean of 40 days. Mostly cases are asymptomatic, but sometimes it causes a very mild illness without jaundice that may goes unnoticed. In some cases, jaundice occur with other symptoms like loss of appetite, abdominal pain, and tenderness. Patient may present with nausea, vomiting, fever, and enlarged and tender liver. Rarely, acute hepatitis E can result in fulminant hepatitis, which result in acute liver failure and death. Diagnosis depends upon lab investigation and it is done by detection of specific IgM and IgG antibodies to the virus and by reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction RT-PCR. Hepatitis E is usually self-limiting, so no specific treatment is required. Recovery is always complete and no specific immunoglobulin are available. As there is no specific treatment, prevention has an important role. Prevention is done by maintaining hygienic practices such as hand washing with safe water, and particularly it is done before handling food. And prevention is done by avoiding drinking water or ice of unknown purity and by adhering to World Health Organization safe food practices. Here are some practices which can prevent the spread of hepatitis E. Everyone should avoid raw meat, particularly meat of pork, and use purified water for washing vegetables or when cooking because vegetable may be contaminated. And one should use bottled water for brushing the teeth in high risk areas. And water should be consumed after boiling, after purifying the water. And one should wash hands frequently. In 2011, the first vaccine to prevent hepatitis E was registered in China, but still it is not available globally. My lecture ends here. Any question from your side? Attendance will be assignment based, and assignment is to enlist the modes of transmission of hepatitis C. Thank you very much.